It's International Women's Day, so let's turn now to women in tech. Now, women make up roughly half of the workforce, yet they are significantly underrepresented in tech, holding 28% of the jobs in the sector. Well, now the acceleration of digital trends looks to be an opportunity to close the gap. Joining us now to weigh in is author, radio host, and serial entrepreneur Randi Zuckerberg. Randi, great to have you on the show. So I want to ask you, because obviously when COVID came about, people working from home, sort of hybrid work as well, a lot of people thought this was really going to help level the playing field when it came to some of these digital jobs for women. But what are you seeing?
It's interesting. I think that the remote work, it both created new opportunities, but also a lot of new challenges. Unfortunately, what we saw during the pandemic is that a lot of women stepped out of the workforce because we kind of went back to traditional roles in households where, with schools shutting down, a lot of women were doing double duty and leaving the workforce. So we're still playing a bit of catch up from that. On the remote work front, like you mentioned, that opened up a lot of opportunities. You could work from for any company, no matter where you were, but it also made the workday on average 3 hours longer when we switched to remote, which definitely had some repercussions for women.
I can definitely say that working from home, yes, you do have those extra hours built in before you know it. An entire day, 10, 12, 14 hours have gone by and it feels like you haven't stopped. So I want to talk about then where we go from here in terms of the future of tech jobs. When we look at how they're growing, projected to grow 15% by 2031, how can women better position themselves to really take advantage of those opportunities?
Yes. Well, one of the things that I've always loved in my career is being on the front lines of new emerging industries, because I think you have a choice getting into a tech career. You can either spend your time playing catch up in an already male dominated part of the industry, or you can get in on the ground floor of some of the emerging things that are happening. And there's so many exciting things with cybersecurity, space travel, blockchain, artificial intelligence. These are all opportunities for women to get in on the ground floor. But a lot of it does revolve around educating and upskilling yourself. It involves stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit and being prepared to step into the unknown. And that's something that I really hope more women will consider doing.
And one thing we did see, a lot of more women stepped into entrepreneurship. I mean, we know that you went from the front lines at Facebook, now Meta, to being a serial entrepreneur. Is that perhaps a way for more women to get into this space if they're not really getting the opportunities that are clearly out there, but they don't seem to be able to get hold of these opportunities?
Yes. And that's one of the areas that we've seen tremendous growth is in startups, of women founding startups. We're seeing more and more women that are founding kind of unicorn level $1 billion+ startups, more women on the investing side. That being said, though, the numbers are still pretty bleak over there. Also, less than 2% of venture capital funding this past year went to female founders and CEOs. And what we've seen is that when you are a founder of a company, you hire people you're familiar with, who think like you, who look like you. So if 98% of funding into the tech sector is going to men, then that's going to perpetuate who continues to work for the tech sector. So I think it's really important that more women found companies and that they get the funding that they need for those companies to be successful.
So to that end, then I want to ask you about this partnership with DeVry when it comes to this Tech Scholars Program. Talk about the goal of this program and the sort of success that you're hoping to see here.
Yes, well, in honor of International Women's Day, I've had the pleasure of working closely with DeVry for several International Women's Days now. We share a deep passion for getting more women into tech careers. DeVry University has a Women and Tech Scholars program that surrounds women with other women, with mentorship, with professional hands-on experience and credentials, and is really designed for women at all stages of their career who want to kickstart a new career or an expanded career in technology. So I think programs like this are absolutely essential to moving the needle and getting more women into the tech industry.
Now, obviously, crypto has been in the headlines a lot, not for the best of reasons, as we've seen, obviously, the fallout from FTX. I want to talk about this Queen of Crypto title that you have. Can be a tough crown to have, especially at a time like this. But talk about your advances in crypto and Web3, and really the opportunities that you see for women and some of the barriers that still exist.
Yes, well, certainly it has been a roller coaster ride to be involved in crypto. But what I will say is that there are several areas of crypto and Web3 that I'm really passionate and excited about. Whatever happens with the individual cryptocurrencies, I am extremely excited about the underlying blockchain technology. I'm even more excited about what Web3 means for the creator economy, for anyone who's an artist, a content creator, a media creator, or a producer who wants to have a direct access and monetization with their community. And so those underlying technologies are not going away, no matter what happens with crypto. And I think this is actually a perfect time for more women to at least understand what's going on in these industries, so that they can have a seat at the table as things pick back up again.
And of course, I do have to ask you, as the sister of Mark Zuckerberg, obviously you had a front row seat as that business was being grown. But in terms of the fearless leaders that you look at, especially coming from that background in Meta, who do you see then as some of the icons in business that you really look up to?
Yeah, gosh, I've been lucky to be surrounded by incredible female leaders. And as I've pivoted my career in and out of both technology and the arts, I have to say that there are a few things that I've learned. A is that so there are so many groundbreaking women around me. I mean, I had the pleasure of working next to Sheryl Sandberg when I was at Meta, which was an incredible experience. I've had the pleasure of producing almost a dozen Broadway shows that are written by women, groundbreaking women who are Anais Mitchell, who I just produced, was only the fourth woman in Broadway history to write her own solo show. So I've been fortunate to surround myself with incredible women, and now at the front lines of Web3. But we desperately need more of us at the table, especially a lot of these new technologies that are coming out have real societal and ethical questions that they're raising, and questions around how our children, how we'll all be interacting with technology. And if women don't have a seat at the table right now, we don't get to have a voice in what happens with those.
And that's a very important point there. You don't want to be on the tail end of that, some of these decisions being made for us instead of involving us. I do appreciate you joining me this morning. Author, radio host, and serial entrepreneur Randi Zuckerberg. Thank you so much.